Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gaelic Lives podcast. You're very welcome to another show, and we have another Monaghan guest. We've had a few in the last couple of weeks, but we have the recently retired former Monaghan footballer now, Karl O'Connell, joining us. And Karl, former Monaghan footballer, is probably something that you're going to have to get used to hearing. But how does it feel at the minute?
Yeah, I suppose you've. I know the last week has been kind of reminders that it's over, but I suppose when you do throw out the former word, it kind of does. It's another kind of nail in the coffin of the career. It's even though I announced it myself, but I suppose just those wee bits, like, yeah, as you say, former. It's just another reminder, like, oh yeah, this is actually happening now, or has happened, and again, probably another bits along the way once the season really starts and the first league game, and then you go on to the championship. It's just another reminder, that it's that lifestyle is not around anymore. But yeah, like I said, it was the right decision, an easy decision to make in the end, which I'm really appreciative of, because I got that opportunity to kind of make it myself. Through obviously Gabriel, and then the body being able to, I suppose, to go on for that long as well. So tough making the call to Gabriel, all right, but definitely the right call, and the right decision made. So it's just looking forward to what the year is to come. Sitting back and watching the lads go on without me, and that's more or less the life of a footballer anyway.
Was it difficult leaving the WhatsApp group, Carl? I think the retired players usually say that's the most hardest part.
It was at the start, to be honest, Sean. When I was kind of thinking, but then when the decision was made, it became easy enough, and it was more relief, because in fairness to the group, and Gabriel and the team, like, they're getting plans in place, and there's a lot of chat in the group as well, and I started to feel like, when I knew I was going to make that call, I felt in my head, I just need to get out here, because I feel like I'm not part of the team anymore, because I had made that decision. It was just a case of making the call to Gabriel, and now that call would have been made earlier, but I knew Gabriel was on holiday, so I didn't want to kind of disturb him on that. But once the time came, once I spoke to Gabriel, it was just a kind of in a rush to make a couple of phone calls to the backroom team, and then put the message into the lads. So it was easy enough now once I did make that decision. Like I said, because of the activity in the group, I didn't want to be kind of, I started to feel like that imposter, but I suppose, it was just a quick message, and out as quickly as you could before any replies came back. So here the show goes on anyway.
Did you know that 2025 was your last season, Carl, or when did you sort of make your mind up that you were going to pull the pin?
Yeah, it was always on my mind, to be honest. Because in a way, because I was getting older, and each year, when I'm not going to say when I got into my 30s, it simply wasn't, but I'd say when, probably around, even though I'm going to say this age, it's still quite old, but probably around 34 is when I started to kind of feel definitely that changed, and obviously the recovery, the trainings after on the Tuesday night after games were becoming really, really tough. Again, not a big fan of missing training, no matter what. And I just felt like, I wasn't aware of it. I didn't take it into, I suppose I wasn't really aware of it. It was just new to me, the feeling, and then when I did realize it was only when kind of Vinny's first year, he would just kind of pull me to the side. He said, "Here, we can't have you training, we've just got to mind you, and although I wasn't happy missing training, but it was a big benefit. So I just knew every year was just right. The time is going to come, and I think from going into from 24 to 25, it was a different feeling. I was coming off probably my first serious injury, where I ended up missing training, the trainings, the matches as well. So the decision and coming back for 2025 was kind of, it was just to see how the body reacted with rehab and all. And so I kind of had an idea, yeah, maybe 25, this is the time, this could be my last time. And as probably although the year went really well, I'm very happy how training went. I was very happy how I felt. I think just as kind of just other commitments started to come into play, it was like, okay, this may be the last the last kind of the last dance, for me. And it's just, and then when we were knocked out, I suppose just that time period again, things just got a wee bit busier, and me and Gabriel were chatting. Probably very fortunate that I had another couple of weeks to be, I suppose, calling inter-county player, because Gabriel got probably pulled away for a work call. He called me back that night and I missed him. And I just thought, you know what, don't make the decision yet. Championship's coming up here for the club. 3 games on the trot, see how it goes. And then, I'll definitely know the decision. So played the 3 games, although they went very well. Felt like that I played well in those games, but in each game there was just signs there. And when I came to the 3rd game on the trot, I think it was 10 minutes before halftime, I was really flagging, and that's when the decision was made. I was like, yeah, this is it. So I would have loved to have done another year or 2, but the reality of it is, I turned 38 2 weeks ago. Again, it just didn't make sense, and more importantly as well, the body was just, I just knew I wouldn't been able to put in the shift for training to compete to compete in training, never mind trying to get a game, and the reality of it is, and I would expect it from anybody else, or even who goes on to play longer than myself, they would still rather, they still always want to play games, and that's it. Like, I think it was just the timing was right, and I'm very happy with this decision, because I got a good tester there for 3 games in a row, and the feeling wasn't nice now on a Monday morning after the 3rd game. So, but that's how it goes anyway.
You just mentioned that injury that you picked up last year, Karl. It was probably something during your career. You didn't seem to have too many injuries, or too many long-term injuries. So last year maybe knocked you back a wee bit, did it?
Yeah, like that was it. That's exactly it. I've been very fortunate not to have an injury through the career. If anytime if I did miss a training, it was just through probably just cautiousness than anything. Just to get a recovery more than anything. But yeah, with 2024, it was how it came out. I don't know how it, like, I again felt good at the start of the year once I got kind of up to the speed of things. And I just remember at the start of the year, just when I was getting back involved with the team and in the league, I think it was before the Galway League game. I just felt it like a pain around the kind of the just the lower abdomen going into the groin on the right side, and I just felt like I had no power, and I went to training that night, and again I just wasn't happy the way I was feeling. Just felt like there was no power there. I felt like there was no pushing off the sprint, even kicking, anything, and just had a chat with the physio, and he just told me, he just pulled me out. And then funny enough, the next 2 days it just disappeared, and I was able to carry on for I suppose the remainder of the year till the championship game against Kerry. And I think just leading up to that, again, felt a slight wee niggle, but nothing that would scare me or anything like that. But got through the first half all right, and the next thing, the second half, I just felt like just the whole body shifted, while the legs it was just planted to the ground. The whole body shifted, and I think just as the game went on, the start of the second half it was tough. Like we were just getting it. It was a tough day, let alone getting an injury. And as the game went on, like I just found the running mechanics was just not working. I couldn't get going at all, and the pain was just becoming more excruciating. And I think it just kind of went from there, Sean, I think. And then I really done it then in the coming on again loud in the second game. again, I have no complaints. The body reacted well to the rehab with Emlyn, the physio. Very happy. He was happy, and just went into the second half of the Loud game, and I went to tackle a player, and whatever way I just felt like it was a chest to chest. I kind of fell back, and I just felt this kind of rip in the groin area, and as it turned out to be, I think it was I tore the adductor. I ripped the muscle off the adductor as well, and there was just extensive bleeding just across the body from the groin to the midriff and to the legs, like on both sides. So it was a nasty one, yeah, it just it just set me back, you know. And well, you know, thankfully I was able to come back, but it set me back to probably a place there that I was I was not familiar with, and there was a lot of patience. There was a lot of work with the physios who I probably annoyed and tested a lot of the times, but thankfully I was able to get back for 2025. But it definitely did set me back. You know, it was a nasty one. Once I kind of got that, like the tear and the muscle kind of settled or repaired, let's just say, there was just an outrageous set of swelling across the midriff as well. And there was days I could barely walk. I could barely hold the little one. If I was holding her, she was nearly bringing me down. Like it was just, and that would just come nearly every second day. So that was probably a big part of kind of the slow decision of coming back in 25. It was a nasty enough one, but again, thankfully and compliments to the physio team, you know, because they put a lot of work in. Again, coming back into the 25 season as a 37-year-old, you know. I know, and I knew their priorities were somewhere else. Like, but again, they were really hands on with me, you know.
Yeah, going back to the start, you didn't actually start playing Gaelic football. I think you were 17 when you actually started playing. So, tell us a wee bit about that. What were you at for the first 17 years of your life?
Okay, yeah, like here's something that's so kind of well documented and that I kind of brush over. To be honest, I don't think too much of it. But I suppose here the other 17 years, or the other, you know, the other I suppose from when I started getting seriously into sports, you know, probably from a 12-year-old, like there was obviously the athletics background, there was soccer, there was rugby. Again, I went through everything else. Like I went through every sport that I was kind of interested in. And I suppose when Gaelic came calling, through a best friend in Thai Holland, and she said, you know what, I'll give it a go. And here, you know, it worked out really well. I had a great. I couldn't ask for a better setup, you know, obviously, because I suppose the size of Thai Holland, like it's a small club, and but I had a great friends around it, but I had great coaches around it, particularly in minors when I first joined, and like in Owen McNally and Dwayne McCurry, and particularly Owen McNally, he was very, very helpful to me. And it just felt like from then on, it was just good timing. You know, when I suppose when I fully committed to the seniors, it was probably 3 years after that. We Declan Lockman as the manager for the senior team, and again, there's a high regard held for Declan and I suppose Colm Donnelly as well, the coach or trainer, if you want to call him, at the time as well. Two Castleblaney men who are, as I said, highly regarded in Monaghan, and they just, I suppose that's when kind of Declan probably gave me the belief, although did I believe it? Probably not. But he did give me that kind of belief, the kind of that I could get to that level. And you know, I suppose it probably two, maybe not two, but maybe 3 or 4 years after that there, Eamon McEnany called, and I suppose the rest is history. Like, you know, I probably came in at a good time. I suppose a certain skill set that I have was probably just fitted, I suppose, the way Gaelic was being played at the time. And I suppose as the years went on, I was able to kind of develop the, not to say that I wasn't terrible with the other skills, but I suppose I was able to kind of develop those skills as the year went on, and I suppose different managers came in, and again, like I said earlier, timing played a big part of it. Malachy O'Rourke came on board, and Ryan Porter and Leo McBride, and again, like just took Monaghan to another level.
Those years when you come in, Carl, I think it's 2012 when you get the call up, but then obviously you reach three Ulster finals in a row. You win it in 13 and 15. Like, such a time for you to be coming in to taste inter-county football for the first time.
Oh, here, absolutely, like unbelievable. I was able to watch. Like I remember from 2005 was probably, I suppose, like obviously the first Monaghan game I went to. I was more or less jumping on the bandwagon at the time, but it was obviously the league final. I think it was Division 2A or 2B, I think, at the time. But again, Meath in Croke Park, and I just remember the game itself. Like it was in, like, I suppose, I was well aware what Croke Park was, and I suppose the history behind it, and just I suppose it's where everyone wants to play football, and I suppose being able to kind of see a Monaghan team play there first, and winning, and just the way it was won as well. I'll never forget it. And again, a lot of the players there who were on that team, I had the luxury of playing with them along my journey as well. But yeah, absolutely. Like I came in obviously in 2012, Eamon McEnany's last year. Again, challenging period probably for the Monaghan team, and in fairness to Eamon as well. If I can recall, probably there was probably a drop off of a good few senior players who played a big part over those years, and he was kind of probably a small transition happening, and it didn't work out well. But Malachy came in the next year, and I suppose here the 8 or 9 years, three Ulster finals in a row. We won two of them. Probably a few missed semi-finals there that we just let go. And I suppose a semi-final there as well in the All Ireland. Like, but again, it was just a real upward trajectory for me. And again, big believer in timing, and it just kind of fell on me lap in a good way.
Those Ulster final victories, Carl, I know we've had Christy McGuinness and Darren Hughes on the podcast in recent weeks, and it's what we always go back to, 13 and 15. Like, what were they like to experience for yourself, for your family, for the whole county, really?
Yeah, like just apps, like it's unbelievable. Like, and I know I don't want to go into the talk there, like, because everybody has their different opinions on the provincials. Like, by right Ulster's, it's probably out of all of them, it's probably the most competitive. Like, but it was just unbelievable. It was just that sense of belief. Even going into the game, just this belief that it was going to happen, and we like just like obviously a lot of things happened. It was just literally from the get go. We got stuck in, and everything was just happening for us. I'm nearly sure. Like, I think Porrick Donaghy, Gavin Dugan and Dermot Malone, and I don't know about Gavin Dugan now, but I think Dermot Malone and Porrick Donaghy could have been their probably first starts of the year, or maybe
Yeah, I
first
think Darren Hughes
starts of the
said
year.
that. Yeah.
And they were just chipping in with points. Like, I remember Porrick just scoring an absolute bomb, and everything was just landing for us, and I think that was just from the effort, the work that we put in. Like, when you do put the work in, when there is that hard work, you do, like, Lady Luck does follow not far too behind you, and it was just, and I remember just the icing on the cake, particularly for me, it was just seeing Tommy Freeman kick a point over as well, like, because again, the high regard that Tommy is in this county, it was just an unbelievable thing to see. And then the feeling after it was just absolutely immense. It was, I know I obviously I wasn't playing that day, but it was just an unbelievable feeling, and it's something that I'll never forget, and it just highlighted for me just my ambitions to get, like, I just need to play in one of these finals. Obviously I couldn't see the future in ahead of me, but it made me just I need to get on this team because I just felt like we were on a real like upwards to competing.
And in 2017, then, Carl, you're called into the Ireland squad that plays the Aussie Rules go to Australia. I think that's actually the last international rules that was played. So, what was that like for an experience? Like it must be amazing.
Yeah, here, unbelievable experience. I think anybody who's involved in sports, no matter what it is, do you want to represent your country? I'm a big believer in it. And it's just in the strange GAA world, it's to some people it's frowned upon, to actually represent your country, or even again, I was a big believer in the Railway Cup as well, to get a chance to represent your province. It I think they're just two unbelievable competitions. But like I said, in the strange GAA organisation, it was always highly frowned upon, and people felt like it was a waste of money. But certainly from myself, absolutely not. Like, it was an unbelievable achievement. Something again that I did I aim for. Probably not, I never really thought about it. I just had, geez, I remember just thinking, obviously, with the likes of Darren, like obviously seeing Tommy first, and then Paul, and then obviously Darren there, then Darren being on it kind of in a regular occurrence, and obviously then Manzi getting in. It was just like, geez, I would absolutely love to try it. But like I said, it was something that I never really targeted. I just made sure that I was giving me best for Monaghan, and little behold, I got a call. I came home from work one day. I was planning to book a holiday away for myself and Antoinette, and little behold, I got a call to say there was trials starting, and could I attend? So I had to park that on the basis that that I could make it. So and here I did. I did it. Unbelievable achievement. I played a good few minutes there on the first test. Obviously, the second test didn't go my way from just being dropped off. But I suppose that's sport. You just kind of got to deal with it. But an unbelievable achievement there. I have the jersey. I have a couple of photos, and they're just framed at home in my mom's house. So it's it's there's no biggest honor. But like I said, it's unfortunately there's a strange feeling in the GA when it comes to that. It's I think it shouldn't be frowned upon, particularly if you look at soccer, you look at the rugby as well. Like there's a big, again, it's a big achievement.
And in 18, then you pick up your All-Star award, Carl. And I was just checking it earlier. There's only 10 Monaghan men have ever won All-Stars. Like, so you're one of a very, very select few. So what was that like to pick that up? I know you had a tough end of that season, obviously, in All Ireland semi-final, but to be rewarded at the end of it with an All-Star award, what was that like?
Yeah, like funny enough, you mightn't believe me. It was, to be honest, it was very overwhelming. I think that's just the nature of me. As you said there, we only have 10, 10 recipients. We probably should have more. To be honest, and particularly, I know in 2007 with Tommy, we could have got my own club mate. Gary McQuaid could have had one. And again, Gary was a big influence to me, a big idol for me, just the way he played. And I'd like to say, I would never dare to say that I was similar to him or better than him, because he was just an unbelievable player. But I always wanted to kind of think that I suppose I mapped my kind of playing ability around him to what he did. And I just went. He was kind of one of the first people I thought of, because again, what he did for T Holland and Monaghan, it was just kind of that overwhelming feeling, and particularly not just that, because we had so many players who played well. We had Ryan Wiley, Drew Wiley, we Darren Hughes, we had Vinnie Corey as well, Fintan Kelly. Like, a lot of boys really played out their skin that year, and I was probably just a fortunate one that the third award went to. And don't get me wrong, it was a nice feeling when I'm probably get a wee bit older. wee bit grumpier, I'll probably look back and I'll take the bragging rights with it. But it was definitely it wasn't as straightforward for me that probably is for some other people, but that's just me. That's my kind of nature. I'm not a one for those kind of limelights. But again, when I do look back, particularly, it was a nice reminder over the week there. It's something to kind of be proud of. But as I say, I'll worry about that when things really slow down for me.
I think you maybe should have another one in 2023, Carl, but I think Conor McCarthy ended up taking your All-Star that year, did he?
Yeah, could have, would have, absolutely. Like here, it was another good year for me, and I think that's the most important thing because, my worry is always was doing the best for Monaghan, and particularly to meet my teammates around me as well, and more importantly for Vinny as well, because of his first year. Vinny was a big help to me in my early stage of the career and all the way through it until he finished. So that's all that I was worrying about. Like Conor McCarthy, absolutely, like by 100% deserved one. There was no way he was not getting one, and I was absolutely delighted for him because he's an unbelievable player. It was just a case that we actually found a position for him. Not to say that he never. He probably had tough days in the half forward line. Some cases could have come down to the players around him, not just getting them the ball to him. But there's a lot of days he was unbelievable, and he's just a fantastic player. But obviously his scoring prowess, but he's a very good defender as well. Like he not only he chipped in with the scores, he put in the defensive shift as well, which he's very good at. And again, I was very, very happy for him because it was a deserving award for him. So, here would it be nice to have two, maybe, but as I said there, at the moment, it's something that I don't really reflect on at the minute. And like I said, that's again just the nature of me.
I'll have to ask you about that break ball against Kildare as well, Carol. I'm sure maybe I don't know if you're on social media or not, but it done the rounds again. Once you announced your retirement, that one that I think was it Daniel Flynn, maybe yourself and him was going for it, and it was a 60-40, maybe a 70-30 in his favour, and you dive on it. And do you remember that break ball at the time? Like, you probably don't realise at the time
No,
how
no.
iconic nearly that is.
Yeah, no. Oh no, I remember it here. I remember so well because I remember the kick out. I remember us just getting a score. I remember just us getting just that nice bit of consistency in our attack and play. Albeit it was very slow, but we were just kind of getting that consistency part. We were getting the scores in, and I remember. I think just before that, I fisted the ball into Gary Mohan, and if I can remember. The Kildare player just came in back from. We got the free, kicked over, but I just remember the kick out, and I looking over to me left there, looking behind, and I remember it was just, I think it was Kevin Flynn, Kildare midfielder, and I remember I said I need to start moving in here. I just have a feeling the ball was going to come here. The ball was kicked out, and the next thing I was kind of running back, and I noticed that right, geez, I'm after just getting kind of bypassing them, and the ball was coming my way, but it took an outrageous just bounce away from me then. And I think it was just it was here. I just knew I had to make it. I just knew that if I get my hands on this here, I have a serious chance of kind of retaining the ball and getting something for us. And like little behold, I saw just probably the corner of my eye, someone just kind of getting closer to it. And here I just had to jump on the ball and kind of turn without kind of lying on the ball as well. And here I caught it. The time I was getting up, it bounced, kind of slipped out of my hands. But again, another Kildare player came running in, and it just knees hit my head. So it was just a good chance to go down and get the free. So like here, it's again like it's I suppose the relief after the game, probably knowing that was probably a big play. But at the same time there, like we had to kick the score over the bar, and it was little behold, it was the name that you mentioned there, it was Conor McCarthy. Like, so here it was again, it's nice to kind of I've never had any doubts of putting my body on the line for Monaghan or my club, So it was, to me, it was very simple. It was just really trying to get the ball, and if that goes down as a big play in the latter years, I'll definitely take it.
Not 23 season. Suppose we spoke about 18 briefly there, Karl, and All Ireland semi final against Tyrone. 23 then is against Dublin. For all the good days and all the success that you've enjoyed, are they 2 days that just the maybe rankled with you a wee bit now in years to come?
Yeah, or 100%. Like it's I'm not ashamed, or I'll never hide away from the fact that once we kind of got that, I suppose, that belief, and All Ireland was the ambition. And without a doubt, like both days, obviously two of them are very different to each other, but but there is some similarities there. Obviously 18, we had just an unbelievable team that was just we hit the right time. We had our just that generation of players. We had a very good management team. We're on the just on a wave of kind of just playing more kind of open football, but obviously still sticking to the defensive side of it as well. We're a bit more kind of adventurous going forward, and we just had the belief. We had we could have made a league final in the league. We could have, we slipped up in the semi final again for Monaghan, but quickly got back on track, and we found ourselves in the semi final that we were playing really, really good football, and we just, again, I suppose we had chances to kind of get away from Tyrone, and we just didn't in the end. That's the reality of it. Obviously there was I suppose there probably a decision at the end from the ref, but again, we had chances before that there, to kind of get further away from Tyrone. I remember, the goal itself, I think it was an unbelievable block down by Darren Hughes, and the ball literally just followed out, just broke out to a Tyrone player on his own, and he was just able to chip it in, and Darren and Rory were close to saving it again. So it was just one of those days where we just didn't get up to the level that's probably required. And then I suppose 23 was a wee bit different, although there was a lot of belief. Again, it was a mixed kind of year. We had a couple of wins, probably weren't consistent in the league, but again, still a lot of belief there, and probably playing a different type of football. But we felt like probably we could have got at Dublin, because just the way Dublin were playing, and we felt like they weren't at their best. But little behold, the last 10 minutes, they just kind of just got away from us. They just literally opened up, and again too, it is obviously I've never experienced the losing of a final, but losing the semi-final is just it's very tough, and it's a tough couple of weeks after it, and but again, that's sport. That's the beauty of it, and particularly in GAA, you can go back again, and get ready for another season. And obviously that didn't play out for 24, but yeah, they're 2 tough days.
On a brighter note, Karl, I suppose what's the highlight now that you're retired? You probably haven't had much time to really reflect over the 14 years, but what would be the major highlight, I suppose, of your Monaghan journey?
Oh, it's a trick question there, particularly, as I say, from, I suppose, the nature of me. And again, I probably haven't got a chance to look back on, but I suppose here being able, I can look back on, playing 10 years in Division 1 football, being able to compete against the best, and I suppose compete in a team that was just unbelievable, for probably consistency of probably 10, maybe 10, 11 years, can definitely look back on that and with great pride. But I suppose to me, like I said, I know there's a lot of individual accolades there, but I suppose it is it's the 2015 final for me, and the 2013, it was just, I think it was just it was a big thing for me. It was a big thing for me in 2013 along with the county, but then really from an individual point of view, 2015 was just a was a big moment for me, and I just I just remember the season. I just kind of knuckled down. Probably didn't get into probably. I think it could have been the third league game again Donegal, and I just said to myself, this is it. I had a very good game, and I just said to myself, this is it. There's no one coming in, and I just I got the belief from Maliki in the team, and I suppose the rest of the history. But I was put a finger on it. Yeah, it was definitely the 2015. And but there's loads of other things, to be honest, Sean. Like there's, as I said, there being part of a great Monaghan team. Um, it is a big thing as well. Like and hopefully the boys that are still playing now, and know there's still a good core there, but even the younger boys that are coming on, hopefully they will get the same feeling that I did, but with more success as well. Like because it's definitely it can be done, and we just need to keep hammer at home.
And finally, Carl, I suppose what does the future hold now? You'll maybe still play a bit of club football and maybe go into coaching, or what do you think? How does the
Yeah.
next couple of years look for you?
Oh, yeah, no, here play as long as I can for the club. That is the plan. I've always been that sporty person. I enjoy it. Obviously it's going to get trickier. But that is the plan. Coaching, absolutely not. Just not for me. No interest. It's just I just like playing it. That's it. And then just being able to I suppose here, whatever happens on when you're playing football, you have 24 hours to cool down, and then after that, there you can kind of switch off and just spend some more time with the family. So, yeah, like that's it here. To be honest, looking to get back involved with the club, with my close friends, and obviously a lot of the younger boys as well now. But more importantly as well, the family is the big thing.
Carl, good man. Thanks very much for coming on the podcast. It's great to hear from you and great to look back at some of the glory days you enjoyed in Monaghan. It was certainly a brilliant time and a brilliant career. So fair play to you, and thanks very much for coming on. Appreciate it.
No worries at all, Sean. Thank you.